what you want.
GPS connected.
Oh man, come on with your bitch ass, man. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Knockout 360, man, with another video. So you can tell I'm in the car. That makes this a car vlog. You already know how it's going down when I come around. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. First things first, car content, car shows, car reviews, car meets, and anything and everything car related happens on this channel, man. So if you're into that, make sure that you stick around. For everyone else, hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you know what's coming out and when it's coming out, right? Look at this damn GMC. Messed up my hard start, my launch, man. I was about to get active for you guys after work, man. But anyway, so the video that you just saw was Chief of Police in Detroit, Michigan, DPD. Basically, I mean, the video looks almost simultaneous or similar to what you guys saw in Charlotte. Basically, they had raided, I think in their raid, it was like 40 cars, maybe 40 or 60 cars. I think it was less than Charlotte. But basically, street racing, reckless driving, the whole nine. They raided over 40 cars, and by raided I mean impounded over 40 cars. You know, took them off the streets. Let's keep it real. Just took them damn cars off the streets and prosecuted the drivers. He specifically said prosecuted the drivers. So they are facing jail time, I guess, if convicted, right? Reckless driving, street racing, the whole nine. The same methods and tactics that CMPD used to raid the 60 drivers here in Charlotte. It seems to me like DPD did the exact same thing, Detroit Police Department, right? He said that they had over 150 undercover social media agents, which basically means 150 people on social media with fake ass profiles, fake ass cars, basically getting added into the chats, you know, reconnaissance on the tweets and the repost and the snaps and all that stuff. Basically, that's what 150 agents does on social media. They create fake profiles, they add fake ass pictures, they probably somehow or another attained a bunch of fake ass followers and a bunch of fake ass following, just going around following people all randomly and willy-nilly, DMing people. I get crazy ass DMs all the goddamn time from a lot of random people on Instagram, and then I go to their profile and they got 6 pictures of them and their Mustang and 128 followers, and I'm just like, nah, don't DM me. Like, I'm not stupid, man. I'm not saying that you're 12, but you're not looking right. You know what I'm saying? You're not looking right. So I don't mess with profiles like that. But he did say 150 undercover agents basically on social media monitoring street racing, car meetups, car takeover events, things of that sort. Sounds really familiar, right? Sounds exactly like Charlotte. So needless to say, they wrangled up over 40 cars, prosecuted, it looks like over 40 drivers, I would assume. The only thing about their raid that was different from ours was that it looks like they got 2 Lamborghinis. 2 damn Lamborghinis, man. I can only imagine how those Lamborghini drivers feel. But that's not the topic of conversation. The topic of conversation is what the officer said that he's going to be doing with these cars. So it is 40 cars. I just remembered this. 40 cars were set for forfeiture. In other words, those cars are no longer the owners. They are the Detroit Police Department. They are property of the Detroit Police Department. He officially stated on there that those cars are his. So they forfeited their car over to the Detroit Police Department. With that being said, from a financial perspective, I don't know how that falls on the owner. And I say that to say, I don't know if the owner at that point, I mean, hands over the keys, hands over the title, is no longer responsible for it financially. I couldn't imagine the car is in the possession of DPD and they expect for you to keep paying the damn bill. Like, I would be through the roof. Me personally, if I knew that they were coming to get my car, I might just have an accident. I might just wrap my shit around a fucking pole. I'm just being honest here, because there was one particular Lamborghini in that video that was a YouTube channel and had a big YouTube banner on the side of the car, and he pointed that out, that some of those guys are from all across the country and basically they do shit like that and put it up on YouTube. I couldn't read it. It looked like DD, but I know it's not. What are those guys? Exotic, Daily Driven Exotics. I know it's not Daily Driven Exotics, but it was a DD on there. I couldn't make it out clear enough to find out exactly what channel it was. But if you're driving a Lamborghini and you're doing it for the purpose of YouTube, you're probably doing pretty well. So whoever that car belonged to, was probably doing pretty well. It's probably still doing pretty well. I mean, come on now, if you can afford a Lambo, you can probably afford 2 Lambos. Let's just be real here. But long story short, they took the cars. They're not giving them back. Similar to the situation here in Charlotte, except for in Charlotte, the guys who lost their cars have a court case or court date set for October, most of them, in which case the judge will decide whether or not he wants to hand the cars over to the drivers or keep them permanently, auction them off, whatever the case may be. One thing that the officer in this particular video mentioned was somebody asked him, so what do you plan on doing with the cars at this point? Now that the cars are no longer on the streets, now that the cars no longer belong to the owners, what do you plan on doing with them? This guy says, oh, we're going to use them for internal use. We can use them for speed enforcement. We can use them from undercover enforcement. We may use them for street racing enforcement. Basically, he was saying he may take those same cars, put them back on the streets, but instead of putting them back in the owner's hands, he may put some of his officers in the driver's seat of those cars, have them pulling up to car meets, car shows, what have you, street racing events, and then as soon as you take off and do 10 miles over the speed limit, they're gonna light your ass up. Now that sounds like a form of entrapment to me, but you know, I'm not legally proficient all the way, but that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like entrapment. And it sounds very familiar to a story that one of my good friends told me where he has a red-eye Charger, and he said that he was in Charlotte, believe it or not, and a SCAT PACK Charger pulled up to him, 392 SCAT, pulled up to him and started revving his engine. And I believe that they were kind of in the middle of the city, so they really couldn't get up to high speeds like on a highway or something like that, right? Long story short, the SCAT takes off, my homeboy takes off in the red-eye, and maybe 2 lights from there, they pull up beside each other, and the owner of the SCAT rolls down the window, and it's a fucking cop. It's a cop in full uniform. They had the windows tinted out so dark that my homeboy couldn't tell who it was, but it was a cop. And my friend in the red eye rolls down his windows and is like, listen, I don't want anything to do with that. So long story short, undercover SCAT PACK Charger, no markings on it whatsoever, wanted to race my friend in his red eye Charger. The only reason I believe that he didn't get, I guess, arrested or even a ticket that day was because they were in the city, and I'm assuming they couldn't get up to high enough speeds to where it could be considered like reckless driving or something wild. So he kind of lucked out on that. If they were on the highway, it may have been a different story. That all goes back to my original point. Be careful who you're out here, quote unquote, racing. You know, just because a 392 or a Hellcat pulls up next to you, ZL1, or even in the case of the Detroit police, a damn Lamborghini pulls up next to you, you do not know if that's an undercover cop or not. If there's one thing that I'm coming to the realization is that this whole crackdown on street racing shit seems to be pretty popular at this point. I think there was a big crackdown in Los Angeles, or at least California, a couple months back. And then, of course, the famous crackdown that just took place in Charlotte, the crackdown that took place in Detroit, which was a couple weeks ago. I heard that there was going to be a major crackdown in Atlanta. A lot of these departments have put, you know, have made it a priority to shut the street racing, street car takeover shit down. Murders is going through the roof. Drugs have obviously been moved in and out of cities. All sorts of crime, all assortments of different crime, and all kinds of stuff going on in these cities, municipalities, and individual states. But somehow or another, street racing is at the top of the list. It's at the top of the food chain as far as police departments around North America are concerned. That's, you know, public enemy number one. Is anybody that's doing over 100 miles an hour seems to be a greater threat to society and our community than someone potentially with the power to harm someone, or even worse, kill someone. It's not my place to say. I'm not a cop. I'm not looking at the statistics. I'm not, you know, dealing with who dies and who lives and the accidents and all that shit. I'm just saying, you know, I'm just speaking as a conscientious objector, speaking from the outside looking in, objectively, if you will, that it seems interesting to me that all of this onus and I guess attention is being driven towards street racing and all this stuff, when there seems to me like there are more important issues for these departments to deal with on the local as well as statewide level is concerned. But, you know, that's beyond me. But long story short, getting back to the Detroit police situation, he said that he was going to use some of these cars for undercover street racing tactics. Basically, he's going to drive around, locate some people in Detroit that may have a fast car, such as myself. Scat packs are fast, don't be funny. such as myself, such as you guys out there driving your Hellcats, your ZL1s, your Mustang GT500s, your C8s, locate you, try to bait you into a race, get you into a race, and then at the last minute pull your ass over, light you up, and you just got pulled over by a Lamborghini cop. How do you feel? You thought that you was about to race a Lamborghini, instead you ended up going to jail and getting pulled over by a Lamborghini cop. A cop in a damn Lamborghini. So that's option number one. Option number two was that he literally said that he could just use it for the department. I mean, he could just take that Lamborghini and throw it in the department squad lot, car lot or whatever, and we can use it for whatever we want. You know, if we want to use it for speed racing enforcement, we can do that. Drug enforcement, we can do that, right? I can imagine on the drug deal scene or something like that, a drug deal gone bad, maybe I'm a drug dealer and I pull up in a Lamborghini and I'm an undercover police officer, and here you are about to sell me some shit or move some shit, and you see me pull up in the Lamborghini. It's like, okay, that dude is official right there. You know, he got a Lambo, he really making money, obviously he moving weight. And then before you know it, I light your ass up, throw on the lights, 10, 15, 20 different SWAT team members come out of nowhere, and before you know it, the jig is up, you're going to jail, and you just got arrested by a Lamborghini cop, right? They are taking these cars off the streets, guys, and using them however they see fit. I hope and pray that the guys that lost their cars in Charlotte get their cars back. You feel me? I hope that they get their cars back. I would absolutely hate to see CMPD take these guys' cars and just decide to start using this shit on the streets, man. These guys work hard to get their cars. Granted, they were stupid. That's debatable. You know, that's debatable. As a car guy, I'm never going to call another car guy stupid for something he may or may not do in his car, provided no one gets killed in the process. You know, me personally, street racing, I mean, if you're doing it on 77 or 485 and you got people obviously going from A to B, families on the street, so on and so forth, sure, I could see the harm in that. I see where you're coming from. I see why it's important to kind of, you know, stick a fork in that immediately. I get that. But a lot of the motherfuckers that got arrested and had their cars towed was doing this shit on like back roads, late at night, on Saturdays, late at night, back roads, behind manufacturing plants, on, you know, what do they call them streets? Like extensions, like extension streets, extension roads, or whatever the case may be. Cul-de-sacs, roads that they know nobody's coming down. It's one of those things like, I mean, is it really that big of a damn deal? To my understanding, no one in Charlotte has been killed over street racing, to my understanding, right? There could have been someone that passed away from a street racing accident, and if that is the case, I gladly retract my statement. I apologize for that. That was a slip of the tongue, right? And on my part, if that's the case. I don't think it is, but if it is the case, then my apologies. Now, am I saying that they should just turn a blind eye? No. But am I saying that they need to conduct a 6-month goddamn Too Fast, Too Furious raid and send 60 people to jail potentially and impound over 60 cars? Absolutely not. I think that's over. I think that's too much. But they did want to send a message, and whatever damn message they sent was well received in the city of Charlotte. The interesting part about it is what happens to these cars next. When these departments get a hold of your car, guys, they can do whatever the fuck they want, man, and that's the messed up part about it. They can take, I think it was 2 wide-body Hellcats that got caught up in the raid in Charlotte. There's no damn telling what those cars will end up doing, man. I can only imagine how the owners feel, bro. Real talk, man. I can only imagine, man. Some of those guys put countless hours, money, time, so on and so forth into those cars, man. And to see a cop driving one of your cars using that shit as some sort of undercover sting to get other street racers, and I mean, at what point does entrapment come into play? Now, granted, I don't know the formal definition of entrapment, and I probably should look it up, or I should have looked it up prior to making this video, but it seems to me like if a cop is going out and he's looking for someone to essentially arrest, or looking to bait someone into an arrest situation, that seems illegal to me. And that police officer literally said, I mean, in his words, I watched the video about an hour or so ago. I'm trying to remember exactly what he said. I probably won't be able to repeat it verbatim, but he literally said, looking for street racers looking for other street racers, looking for other street racing, pulling up to car events. So essentially, you want to blend in such a way that whoever you have your eye on, whoever you have your eyes set on, as far as arresting is concerned, you want him to think that he is just like you, just another street racer. You and him pull up to a light, you rev your engine at him, he revs his engine at you, and then before you know it, it's on. He hits 120, you hit whatever you hit, and then you light him up, and now he's going to jail. That seems like entrapment to me. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Doesn't that seem a little, if not even illegal, just kind of unethical? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I can imagine, like, as a police officer, you could probably get anybody to commit a crime if you really wanted them to. And I say that to say, if you baited somebody into doing something stupid, you could probably get them to commit a crime. If you were in a police car or a police Charger or Explorer and you decided to, you know, get on somebody's bumper while you're driving, and obviously they see that and they decide to speed up, well, in the process of speeding up, they're doing 10 miles over the speed limit. Now you got them for speeding and possibly reckless driving. Come on now, you just baited that person into that arrest. That's not fair. That's not right. But that's just how I feel about it, man. But it's messed up to know that these police departments, once they get your car, they can do as they please with it. I hope from a financial perspective, you're not still liable or on the hook to pay for those cars. I mean, once, you know, the police department takes the car, like, why am I paying for a car that I don't fucking have? Especially when they forfeited it over, or I forfeited it over to them and it's in their possession, in their hands. I'm damn sure not paying for it. If that's the case, then I might just have an unfortunate accident or something like that, that, you know, my car got totaled. Because if you remember that video that I made about the presentation of the cops and what they did in CMPD, or at least Charlotte, there were still probably 13 cars that were outstanding, and half of them were totaled. It's kind of coincidental that, you know, those cars got totaled in the same time period that the warrants were issued to come and tow them away or impound them. But that's neither here nor there. But that's just kind of my 2 cents on the matter, guys. I mean, it's messed up that these police departments can do that. Just take your car, especially after one offense. If they've sent you numerous cease and desist letters, if you've been arrested, you've been pulled over, you've been given all kinds of citations and tickets, I understand that. At some point, they got to drive the message home. But goddamn it, if you got caught street racing, like some of these guys got caught street racing one time. My homeboy legit told me that he went to one of those meets one time and hadn't gone to another one in 6 months prior to or post that one time, and he got a cease and desist letter, all because they caught his license plate, make and model at that particular car meet. And it's one of them things like, are you really about to tow somebody's car, impound somebody's car, take their car away from them permanently, all because of one street racing event, and you didn't give any sort of warning or any sort of, you know, forewarning that, hey, listen, we caught you doing this, that, and the third. We got your license plate. We got your make and model. It would behoove you to stop going to these events. Otherwise, we're going to take further action if necessary. That's just my take on it, but that's just my 2 cents on it, man. Talk to your boy, man. As always, like, subscribe, comment. It's your boy Knockout 360, man. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.